Why are more and more young men giving up on women and checking out of society? They're calling it the Sexodus, an entire generation of boys abandoning female company, relinquishing relationships, and retreating into a virtual reality world of pornography, video games, lad culture, and chemical addictions. Anecdotally, the flip side of the equation also appears to be true. How often do you hear women who have resisted the brainwashing of radical feminism bemoaning the fact that they can no longer find real men? Men who are actually confident enough to know how to act around women without being constantly terrified that every word they utter, every behaviour they express, every opinion they espouse may be taken as offensive, sexist, or predatory. In part 1 of a series of articles on the Sexodus, Breitbart's Milo Yiannopoulos notes how an entire generation of young people are being left behind in the wreckage of the social engineering project known as third wave feminism. Yiannopoulos spoke to Jack Rivlin, editor of over 30 student newspapers, who told him of the increasingly troubling trend of young men on campus being completely clueless and scared when it comes to how to engage with women. What's to blame for this breakdown? The hysterical propaganda surrounding so-called rape culture, exemplified by the recent Rolling Stone University of Virginia scandal, plays a major role, as does its consequences. Mandatory consent classes and California's onerous and confusing yes means yes law, where students, in whatever state of inebriation, need to secure a kind of arbitrary verbal contract with each other before they can engage in any kind of sexual activity. The deadening of young boys' naturally rambunctious behaviour via ADH drugs such as Ritalin, as well as their educational abandonment, is also creating a generation of dysfunctional and reclusive adolescents, devoid of all self-esteem, miserable, and unable to relate to the opposite sex. The discrepancy between what women say they want and what they actually want also serves to confuse young men further. Men are constantly told they should be delicate, sensitive fellow travellers on the feminist path, writes Yiannopoulos. But the same women who say they want a nice, unthreatening boyfriend go home and swoon over simple-minded, giant-chested, testosterone-saturated hunks in Game of Thrones. Men know this, and for some this giant inconsistency makes the whole game look too much like hard work. Why bother trying to work out what a woman wants when you can play sports, masturbate, or just play video games from the comfort of your own bedroom? The divorce process is also set up to grossly favour women over men, leaving many men frightened for fear of losing everything. Women are also becoming less and less interested in monogamy, claiming the player mantle so often ascribed to men for themselves as some twisted form of sexual equality. Are Western men, in increasing numbers, at risk of turning into Japan's herbivores, men who shun sex and prefer to go on long walks rather than flirt with girls? Is it any surprise that many men are turning to infamous pick-up artists like Julian Blanc in a desperate last-ditch effort to reclaim their confidence around women? Traditionally male characteristics, qualities and traits have also been ridiculed by third-wave feminism and contemporary culture. There are virtually no true positive male role models left at all. Men have been brainwashed that white knight behaviour is the only recourse left to get them laid, which of course doesn't work either. The response to part 1 of Yiannopoulos' article was overwhelming, with over 500 men responding to say how much they resonated with the message. 24-year-old Mark wrote, quote, "Everyone I know feels the same. Your article spoke directly to us. We're not all losers and nerds. We're just normal guys who are either scared of being accused of terrible stuff by harpies or simply can't be bothered anymore. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I just can't deal with the hassle of women anymore." Quote, "I'm an athlete. My parents have a lot of money. I have plenty of friends and a good social life. I don't hang out with women anymore," wrote 28-year-old Francis, Occasionally I'll have one-night stands, but mostly I fill my time with other things. I got accused of molesting a girl at college, and since then I've just thought, whatever, I'll play sports instead. This is the Sexodus. Young men giving up on women entirely as a result of the destruction wrought by social engineering and radical feminism. A process which then punishes women by leaving them with a choice between the simpering, pathetic white knight or the emotionally or physically abusive thug. Now, I know that this is a polemic argument. It's controversial. It's likely to stoke heated debate on both sides of the equation. And to that I say, bring it on. Because it's high time this debate was dragged kicking and screaming from the fringes of the men's rights movement and the corners of the radical feminist Tumblr blogs out into the open where we can all pick apart the bones. But once again, the train wreck of radical feminism and the contrived gender war, promoted at every turn by the political class and the establishment media, is driving a wedge between men and women. It's derailing the cohesiveness of Western society. This is the most ominous form of social engineering. This is divide and conquer on the biggest scale imaginable. Are you a young man who has given up on women and become part of the Sexodus? Are you a young woman who has abandoned all hope of finding a real man? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Check out the other videos, subscribe to the channel. I'm Paul Joseph Watson reporting for Infowars.com.